Hello friends, Adam here with FED. So it's tier list Tuesday, and you know what that means. We're doing a tier list on Tuesday. And as I am wont to do on Tuesday, which is tier list Tuesday, I go into the FED Discord, which you can join by clicking the link in the description of this video. And I say, hey, everyone in the Discord, it's Tuesday, which means it's tier list Tuesday. And then everyone gives me tier list ideas to do on tier list Tuesday. So today, on tier list Tuesday, we have the gameplay story integration tier list, which we're doing on Tuesday. So I have 4 tiers, and I'll give you an example of a game that goes in every tier to really illustrate what I mean when I want like good story and gameplay integration. We'll start with bad though. I like starting with bad. I'm a negative person. Bad. We have Awakening, because you know that, like, okay, spoilers for Awakening. Kind of an important moment, but like most people have played the game, so I'm okay saying it. But if you haven't and you don't want to miss this important story moment, like skip maybe the next 30 seconds. Anyways, when Emerin sacrifices herself to save the party, and then they have to run away and escape from the Pelagian army, that's all great and powerful moment. But then it's like, oh, you can go do some side questing and stuff before continuing your escape from the Pelagian army. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. It's goofy and stupid, but you know, it doesn't make the game bad by any means. It just means that it has not the greatest story integration, right? So that's an example of a bad one for me. Fine is going to be Blazing Sword. Nothing offensive about this game as far as the integration of story and gameplay go, but nothing super standout or incredible. I think the only things that really get me as far as standing out are like Battle Before Dawn. I think is a really cool story moment and reflects in the gameplay, being really dire and desperate and trying to save Zephiel. It's also just a really cool story chapter in general with Jafar and and stuff. So I like that chapter for that. But I can't really think of any other ones. But I also can't think of anything that like offends me. So I think it's fine. Good. I think Binding Blade is pretty good as far as story gameplay integration goes. Once Roy gets the Binding Blade, he becomes super awesome, right? He starts the game off, and most of the time he's kind of, a liability. But once you get to that chapter where he finally gets his superpower sword, he becomes like a god, and it's really cool to see that. It's a really cool payoff story-wise and gameplay-wise. And it really works, and it just kind of, I don't know, you see a lot of Roy struggling to be the like he's a young leader guy, and it just kind of, I don't know, it all just works. I think it's actually pretty good. I'm not like an expert on this kind of stuff, so you're like, why are you making a video on it? It's because I want to. So feel free to correct me in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on stuff like this. All right, incredible. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me that's played this game, and you should play this game if you haven't. It's incredible. 3776 probably has the best story integration in the series into the gameplay. Even like some of the more important mechanics that are only present in this game, like capture. And by capture, I know capture is available in Fates, but it's completely different there. I mean, capture as far as Thracia goes. It goes to it enhances the story through gameplay, right? So the whole story is basically that Leaf is trying to liberate his homeland, but he's always fighting at a disadvantage and like low funds, smaller army, all sorts of stuff like that. And capture is the main way you get weapons. So you literally have to capture the enemies, steal their weapons, and then let them go, right? That is the best way, and pretty much it's really like the only good way to get weapons throughout your campaign. And it just really works really well. And then there's the whole master escape sequence that I've made an entire video on and stuff. So like Thracia is incredible. If you played it, I don't want to spoil anything else about it though. So go play that game. It's really good. All right. So now that we have an example, let's get into each game chronologically. Now, some of these I really don't have a strong opinion on, so they're probably gonna go in fine, right? Like, I don't know, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, like who freaking cares, right? It's an NES game that it's okay. It's just fine. It doesn't offend me, but also it's an NES game, so they did what they could at the time, right? Right, Gaiden. Gaiden, I kind of want to put in good because I think there's actually some cool things they do with, you know, not, when you don't recruit characters in time, they just kind of die. Stuff like that. Stuff that can be kind of cool that way, where if you make wrong decisions, you miss out on characters, and it works in a way that feels like semi-natural. So I think that's kind of good, but also it's an NES game, so it's hard for me to be like, yeah, it's good. So I'm gonna put it here. Probably. Doesn't offend me, but I don't think it's good enough to be in good. Maybe I'll put it top of fine. Yeah. Mystery of the Emblem, also one that I don't have a strong enough opinion on to put any higher than fine. There are some cool things going on with the story and gameplay, but I don't know if they integrate that well, so let's do that. It's fine. Nothing offensive. Genealogy of the Holy War, this is probably my first like super controversial thing. I don't think it's incredible. I think it's just good. Because people will be like, oh, but what about like chapter 4 where, you know, you watch Manya get obliterated by, is it Pamela or Dethorba? I don't remember. Whatever one destroys her, and her and then, you know, the bow knights show up and kill him too. Like, that's cool and all. I get it, but does that, it's also just really boring. That doesn't feel like gameplay. It's just like an awkward cutscene that takes a really long time. I will say that there are good moments though, right? I think Bridget running away from the pirates is really cool. I think that's a fun moment, and then she like runs away and gets to join up eventually with like Claude and Tiltiu, and it just works. I think that's a fun one. Rescuing Aideen and Dew, I think that's also a good one, where they have to run away from the scary brigand people, and you have to run down through the forest to rescue them. That also is very cool. So there's plenty of good moments and with story integration, but I don't think it's quite as good as Thracia. All right, now we have Sacred Stones. The Sacred Stone suffers from the same issue as Awakening, where you can just kind of run off to like the Tower of Volney or the Lagdo Ruins or whatever, and just kind of delay doing stuff. It's that typical problem that you have in a lot of JRPGs or like Zelda games or something, where it's like, ooh, hurry, go save the princess or go collect the crystal or whatever. There's no time to waste. Just let me go catch chickens and fish for 5 hours. You know? And it's a similar issue, I think, in Sacred Stones. Path of Radiance. Path of Radiance, I think, is really good. I don't think it's incredible. It's really good, though. Mainly in that having Ike's progression as a unit directly correlates to his story progression. He goes from being a weak mercenary to being kind of like in charge of the mercenaries, to being the freaking leader of an army, to becoming like, you know, a near god slaying kind of guy, where he's able to kill people who have like god blessed armor and who are riding giant dragon people and who are influenced by like the goddess of chaos and stuff. Like, it's really cool that he's able to do all that stuff, and it's a fun story progression that goes along with his unit progression as well. There are also just like cool some cool maps. I think of the Port Toa map as a chapter 11, I think, where you get Zyhark. That map is really cool with the bonus experience requirements of keeping the like vigilantes alive, you know, just the townspeople who are attacking. And then the way you recruit Zyhark is actually really cool, where he's all like, hey, are there any lagus about? Or he probably says subhumans, like, are there any of those subhumans about, you know? And the guy's like, oh yeah, you'll be able to kill him, but of course he doesn't want to because he loves the lagus. Really cool, just cool stuff, and like cool hints at how to recruit him. I think Path of Radiance has some really cool stuff like that, so it's good. Wouldn't call it incredible, but it's good. Radiant Dawn, I'm tempted. I think I am going to put it in incredible. I don't know, the more I talked about Path of Radiance, the more I wanted to put it in incredible as well. But I think I'm going to put Radiant Dawn in incredible. It is, anytime you play as the Dawn Brigade, you feel like you're going to lose. And that just works. I mean, you play a lot of games. I recently played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and one of my biggest gripes, and it's such a silly thing to be upset about, one of my biggest gripes with the game is you would dominate a boss or something, or some character that's supposed to be like a reoccurring villain early on. Like, you'll dominate him in that fight, but then the cutscene will start after you beat the boss, and it's like, oh wow, Rex is getting his butt kicked by this boss now. It's like, what? I freaking destroyed you. It wasn't even close, but now I'm losing. I hate that crap. Radiant Dawn does an incredible job of being like, oh wait, this is actually like hopeless. Like 313. Once Ike starts charging at you, you're like, frick, I'm gonna die. And luckily the chapter ends. Or I think the chapter where you're on the Raban River fighting the Laguz Alliance. Like, you're just getting overwhelmed by Laguz. There's just more of them than there are you. It's just really difficult to stay alive. You're always fighting for your life with the Dawn Brigade, but the Grail Mercenaries are like meant to be these really experienced, you know, veterans of war, and it shows. They are like surgical in the way they handle conflict, and it's really cool. And again, gameplay reflects it. Awesome stuff. All right, Shadow Dragon, it's fine. Mystery of the Emblem, I don't know. On harder difficulties, I feel like the trials, like the dragon trials or whatever it's called at the end of the game, are actually really cool. Not end of the game, but like towards the end, are really, really cool. But I think overall, it's it's just fine. Just fine. I don't know. There. Yeah. I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with me on these. They're bad. If Corrin says he doesn't kill people one more time and then proceeds to like lower their HP to 0 constantly, like, come on, you're killing people. But he's like, no, we didn't kill anyone. They're fine. We just knocked them out with our swords and daggers and freaking fire magic. No, they're fine. We didn't kill them. They're just sleeping. Freaking ridiculous, dude. I freaking hate that stuff, man. Revelation though, I'm gonna put it up here. I think it's fine. I'm tempted to put it good. I think a lot of the gameplay gimmicks work in favor of the Revelation story. I actually like a lot of the gimmicks in Rev. People are just mean. I like a lot of the gimmicks. So, yeah, I think it's fine. You guys are just mean. Echoes. See, like, I understand it's like a direct remake of Gaiden, but also it's just better presented, so I kind of want to put it higher. And I'm trying to think of moments that justify this. I mean, Jeddah is, or, you know, the whole thing with Jeddah is a thing, but like, I mean, that's also in Gaiden. I don't know, man. I don't know. People might give me some hate for this one, but I think I just have to put it in fine. I think I'm going to put these at like a top of fine though. And then Three Houses. Three Houses is another one I don't have a really strong opinion on for this. I'm not sure where to put it. I could see it being good in some instances. Like chapter 14 is really cool, where you're on the back foot the entire time, and it really feels like an empire is trying to take over the castle or the Garrigmont Monastery, and you're just like fighting tooth and nail to barely survive, and that's really cool. But then there's like chapter 13, which is like, what? Hunting by Daybreak should not exist, you know, or Reunion at Dawn, whatever. Shouldn't exist. So I think I'm gonna say fine. I don't know. I could see it being in good. I think I'm gonna say fine though. I think overall Fire Emblem just kind of struggles with this kind of stuff. It's a strategy game too, so it's like, how do you really reflect story and gameplay? But these are my thoughts. Tell me in the comments what I got wrong. I would love to hear all of you yell at me. It's my favorite thing, so please do. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, help us reach 25,000 subs, that'd be cool. Also, like the video, that'd be really awesome of you if you did that. I would really appreciate it. And please, again, comment your thoughts. Tell me why I'm wrong. Oh, and also, if you're feeling crazy, you should go sub to my second channel.